The sport of football is notorious for its big collisions and injuries that happen each game. 10% of all contact sport athletes suffer at least one concussion during their careers. However, these concussions are happening in the place least suspected, in practice. Minnesota State University Moorhead athletic trainer Keith Wiedrich has been watching the patterns of concussions in football for the last 28 seasons.
If you think about it, you practice 5 days a week. With a game's an hour long, and there's only one game a week. So you have a much greater chance of getting the injury during the practice because you're exposed way more often in practice.
A study funded by the NCAA and United States Department of Defense spanning 5 years found that over 72% of football concussions occur in practice. Daniel Keefe is the practice operations assistant for the Dragons. He is one of the coaching staff in charge of keeping practices safe.
It's not really surprising, given the kind of game that it's evolved to. I know for our practice squad especially, we limit the amount of days that we're wearing full pads to kind of eliminate part of that.
Teams have made changes to practice, but the players are still the ones wearing helmets amid the changes. MSUM defensive back Jared Kallenbach is confident in the way the Dragons are conducting practices each week.
We don't really take much, like a lot of one-on-one reps. We don't do any full tackling. We don't do anything that's like going to put ourselves in danger, putting head injuries into play.
For decades, the National Football League was unaware of how serious concussions were. Getting your bell rung or a big head-to-head collision was just a normal part of the game. Former NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue in 1994 commented, "The number of concussions is small and journalists are the issue." Keith Wiedrich has seen the treatment of concussions evolve over his 28 years as MSUM's athletic trainer.
30 years ago, it wasn't a big deal. You got a concussion, you came out for a while, and they sent you back in. Nowadays, that isn't the way it goes. If they have concussion symptoms, they're out of the game.
Even though the hits aren't going anywhere, Coach Keefe thinks the rule changes football has made are a great long-term decision.
There are going to be more flags and there's going to be more penalty yards, but they're ultimately trying to keep the kids safe. Football is not usually a game that goes on for life. Ultimately, it's a good thing to keep these kids safer and healthier in the long run.
For Dragon Radio, I'm Josh Boyko.